Hello, it's Friday, May 19th. Long weekend. Going to the lean-to. Yeah, another one at the lean-to, but whatever. So got some. Brought the girlfriend's car, so we have to cut some stuff that has been here since all winter.
Mojo!
There. Yeah, we've been walking over this all winter long. I don't know why I was doing this. It's pretty expensive saw. Well, isn't that just nice? Well, that sucked. I don't know the name of the parts of the chain, but the bottom part that goes around the groove of the bar, you saw it when it came off there, it was spinning and catching, so some of that ground somewhere in the inside gear, probably where it spins on the inside there, and so wasn't able to put it back on the bar because the inside of the chain there mushroomed and damaged out, so it won't slide in the groove around the bar. So I didn't have a flat file with me. I guess I should put one in, but I used the round, probably wrecked it now, but the round chain file to kind of file off the burrs on the inside of the chain there. There's a whole section about this long that was damaged. I couldn't see down into the track. A little tight now. I ran it a bit. That might get some of the burrs off. So I'll try again here. Jen pulled a bunch of stuff out of the way already for me while I was doing that. So we'll just finish cutting this up and head down to the next spot where we're going to need to be cutting something. that's it. So we have a lot of gear, so I'm gonna dry pull the sled. So this is a boardwalk that I made that every year needs more pieces added to it because they sink in and the cows come through here and so do the elk. So we got the chainsaw and Jen across. It's just a sled to go now. But yeah, you can see all that's sunk in the mud. Maybe I'll just pull out the chainsaw now and quickly fill that in. So now I'll cut the pieces for that boardwalk on the way out at the end of the weekend here. And I just cut that one. We've been walking over that all winter. The last half of the winter, the snow was right up to there on the path. But beginning of winter, it's about a foot under it. We had to pull the sled over. Well, gonna need a sweeping. I like to sweep all this up, get my paths all nice and swept. I wasn't sure if there'd be any snow left. It's a lot drier than I thought. I should be keeping a journal all these 4 years, knowing when it freezes, when the ice is off the lake, when the last snow's melted. This is the cooler that I buried before fall came, or at fall, before winter came. And like I say, we hadn't come up until halfway through winter. So someone must have came up and messed around with some things. Or an animal stepped on it and it flipped on them. So like that cooler's buried in dirt, so I gotta pull it out to get the water out of it, or bucket it all out of there. So there were some prints of some, can't tell what they were at all, but it had stepped and slipped. We've all walked over it now, but something probably did step on the lid of my cooler and flip it off as it was walking through to the water. I'll be making a lid for that similar to my kindling box lid, which is right over here. Alright, got the awning up for shade in case it's sunny and hot, and I think there's mixed rain. So there's my 2 Christmas ornaments that I was mentioning on one of my winter videos that were missing off the tree. They fell off in all the snowfall. My little red trike and my little Charlie Brown globe from when I was 6 or 7 from Granny. Because that's my Christmas tree. I decorate it every winter and keep it decorated, except this year I didn't. Like I say, didn't come up at all a lot, or only a few times this winter. So that's the Charlie Brown one my granny gave me when I was about 6. This is one of Granny's old ornaments off her tree. Used to have a whole bunch of stuff, but I left them up here all year at once and they really mildewed and wrecked. Too bad, eh? Family stuff. This I made when I was like in preschool. I remember making it. I just had to paint it. They gave us, those, and you just had to paint it. And I'm pretty sure I obviously had help because, no, I think I kind of remember doing the brown. And I think I had help though still. So I keep those on all year round, those 3. And then when winter comes, if I'm avidly camping up here all winter long, every weekend like I used to, I decorate it for the year, or the season. Remember all the snow that used to be there? And the pile of snow there was to the top of that little tree. And the path coming in. And all the snow that was there on the roof and down that path. And you remember the tunnel path the trench path to the food bucket. So at the end of the food bucket path, this is where snow melt runs. You can clearly see that we're all done melting snow already. I kind of filled it up with duff and rakings from cleaning up the area when I first, maybe the second year I was here. Gets me over here. Used to be all, well, it still is. It fills right in with devil's club or some kind of weird looking stuff and poison ivy and all that stuff. Gets really green. Gets really green. But filled it in and made this path because I think I want to explore around, or wouldn't that be neat? I'd like to make a dugout somewhere, so that's what I was thinking. So you need to be somewhere that I can drive in the winter. A logging road that gets plowed and sanded. So you have to find one that has resorts or homes with school, school route, because kids have to go to school. And there's not a lot of that. And I don't have a skidoo or anything to get anywhere. So I have to be able to access it in the winter time. This will all get green and really bushy. All this gets raked out. I do a 30-foot fire hazard clean out. So you can see that what's already done is all the lower branches and dry dead stuff, and anything growing out of the ground dead is being lopped off or pulled out. So I go from just this strip here, and then this fallen log, if you can kind of see it back there. I go up just here, and I'll show you where that kind of comes out. It comes out to where I walk into my lean-to area here. I do here all the way to the water. So it's to the front, to the right of the lean-to, looking at the lake. So I do all in here. All in here. I'll cover this side first. So this tree fell this winter. It's got to get cut out. So I do all back just to that tree there and down to the water food bucket. So I cut a line right through past this tree, past where I'm standing here. This is coming into the lean-to. I have all this raked and clean up to my gate, and just in there a little bit, not much farther than that. And then from this old deer trail, where's it go now? Yeah, right through between those two trees, down on the water and all into the lean-to. So all that's gets cleaned up. All in there. All in here. All the way back to that fallen tree at the back there. And up to the food bucket. Down to the water. I'll clean up all in through here every season to the water. This is over to that old game trail I was pointing out. And all up in here I'll be re-raking. That's today's temperature. And let's go see the boardwalk I made down here. Oh, see, it's above the water. So this used to be all down low. I added 1.5 feet, 2 feet of branches and then sprinkled duff on top of them. So right here is where it started getting really wet. It dipped down. And this dries up, you know, in the summer, but for spring it's flooded. So this was my path to get water or bring a canoe. I filled all this up, and there's crisscross logs all everywhere, and I had to fill in the holes where the crisscrossed, and it's a little wet here. Oh no, that was fine. Yeah, not bad, eh? Slick. And there I walk out and get, well, right now I just get water to put the fire out. I always have a bucket of water, of course, it's a law. Get it right here, but by halfway through summer I have to walk out to get it. Or there's another place I'll show you. Yep, pretty nice place. Always alone and quiet. You know, long weekend comes and you're fighting to reserve for a place at a provincial campground, or fighting to get to a forestry spot before anyone else, and I have my own place. It's all crown land, everyone can do it. Have a nice place. So this is where that water runs through. I was telling you where that trickling water was. Comes out here. Great place to bring a canoe, but really by the summertime comes, it's too shallow. There were a bunch of logs. Some I got out in the one year when winter was just hitting. So I did make it better and more accessible, but there's still some thick mudded in logs under there to move to get a canoe in, I think. But that was my initial plan when I made this place. I saw this on Google Earth and I knew, hey, good spot to bring a canoe. I'll make a camp there. Pull the canoe into here, hide it, and there you go. There's camp. COs have visited me. They found me 2 winters ago. They followed my toboggan and snowshoe prints in the snow, and we're just checking for fishing licenses. So the reason I have the fencing is, you know, it's places that won't get walked on. I don't go tramp through. Just keep to my little spot I made, and all the forest around can stay nice. So something to fix this weekend is one of my posts, like that one there that hold this up, broke this winter. It's actually been broken for a while. just before winter, I remember. Was barely holding on. And this was already starting to push out, but is worse now. So I'll just dig out a bunch of dirt, push that in, pound a new post. And that's my tent pad. So that was what I slept on here in the winter because Jen had the lean-to. There wasn't enough room for both of us in the lean-to in the winter time with how big our bivvies and double sleeping bags and liners and all are. Had a tarp over top and that down with some boughs, which are still inside there. So I won't be needing that because we'll both be able to fit in the lean-to with our summer gear. Whiskey jacks are back. There's another. Number 3. And usually there's 3 and there were 4, but now it's 3 and then one comes by on his own. I kicked him out or something. Then there was a year I didn't see him at all. And only 1 out of the 4 ever lands in your hand. And when they came back after not being around for a year, they were ratty looking and sickly and just really just ragged and wet, feathered up looking. It was weird. They don't really like birdseed. They won't eat it. Chipmunks love it.
I'm waiting to get the chipmunks.
Them guys get enough food. I used to feed them all the time in the winters, but when they stole my really good sandwich once, which is my own fault and stuff, but they just start getting too needy and steely, so I just don't feed them much anymore. I used to bring oatmeal. They love oatmeal. It's cheap, right? You get the old, the whole oat ones, and should have brought some for them this time. I don't know, I was lazy. Alright, I just quickly raked up my pathway here. All the mess from winter. And Jen swept all of this really nice. Okay, I raked this area up quite nice. It's all ready to go. 2 piles. That'll all grow and be bushy. I've been here 4 years. The first 2 years, this area was very green and tall and bushy. And in the last 2 years, just dried out. And then this area over here, even though right now you can't tell because stuff's has to sprout up again. Just this little strip here, there was quite an improvement. It was really dry and nothing grew. And then this area to the left of the lean-to where the Christmas tree is, it usually gets very green as well. It's just, at the moment, doesn't look like it as well, but it'll green right up. So another safety feature of my lean-to that helps protect against forest fires is you can clearly see I have a good fire pit there. It's raised on the back by a good easy 2 feet. 2 feet on the sides tapering down to about 9 inches. And then you have this spark wall around the edges for if a spark does pop, and they do, right? And I've never had one pop over. And like I say, I do the safe forest cleanup for dry flammables. And I always have that bucket full of water and that shovel handy. And I always put the fire up before bed and when I leave. So this is one of those bamboo Asian tea boxes. Tea comes in them and all such. And kind of explains everything I've done here. Got a cool paracord bracelet, flint striker, ferro rod hanging in there just for fun. Jen swept up the tent pad. So lots of food for Mojo, and plus he'd be getting lots of yummy people food. He's old and fat, and you might as well go out happy. Poor old guy. And another thing I'm going to do this weekend or sometime this spring is bring the sides in a good 3 inches. So this one here is going to line up right all into here. And this one here, same thing, it cuts on the outside, it's going to cut up on the inside. So I bought those chaps, they were brand new, but I think they're really old, right? Years old. Brand shiny new for 50 bucks. Or was it? I think it was 40. Off local buy and sell. And just good to have, right? I see everybody on YouTube cutting without them, and I'm glad I finally have a pair. I think they're a necessity. So I'm all done with the chainsaw chops now, but I bought them off a lady whose dad passed away, and in the 80s he used to own Penticton Canvas and Awning. Got his old logo stamped on him. Fancy orange canvas. I got them for cheap, can't remember how much. Had some cool stuff. For 100 bucks I got a genuine Norland Hudson Bay pattern axe. Still has the orange tape but on top. But yeah, she was selling a lot of cool stuff. Oh, and I got a brand new, shiny, never used 1980s Holtzbrook hatchet. All the brand new blue paint on it, brand new red paint on the handle, and brand new handle, and the Permabond on the top. Yeah, I've got a few cool things off her. Not quite a full bucket. I could have walked out in the log a little farther out, but that's pretty good. Fishing boat has been out there since we got here. We arrived late. Gee, it must have been around 3 o'clock. 3:30. Down here at 4. It's 7 now. But 3 nights. 2 full days and 2 half days. Just missed two geese flying over. I gotta learn to, once I hear them, to run out real quick because they're coming down over the lake. And I can get them shooting by really low. And the frogs have been trying to start since 6. They'll all pick up and then stop for a while and then pick up and stop for a while. But tonight there's going to be millions and billions and trillions of them. It's going to be a frog frenzy. Well, I bucketed out all the water, then pulled out the cooler and wiped it down. Just have to finish cleaning up both sides of the lid. Just getting on to 7:30. This is one of those lumberjack sandwiches from Save On Foods. Lucky guy gets a big chunk. Yeah, no starting a fire to cook dinner tonight. Up here late. All right, raked that up. Couple piles, just up to those areas there. Up to where the Christmas tree is and the lean-to. And have that pile right there, raked up from just past the Christmas tree there and up to the path to the food bucket. But still have all in there to do. Might not even get to it this weekend. It's almost time to shut her down for the evening. It's 8. Yeah, this area was much greener and bushier the first couple years I was here as well. They just somehow dried out. Alright, I shoveled out all the old ashes from the last winter and fall. Or probably since last spring, I guess. Alright, from the entrance way, the path, and just in this area here is all raked up now. And that's that pile of boughs I was using for sleeping on in the winter. Mixed in with everything I raked up out of that little corner. Now I'll just sweep off the roof. Alright, how do you like that? Getting there. Froggy! Alright, I have a thunder shot and a screecheroo. I already lit one screecheroo off. Screecheroo first. thunder shot. Nice. How do you like that? And I have 3 10-ball Roman candles. Oh, and what have we here? I don't think we're supposed to have those. All right, the bear bag's hung. It's called an Ursac. It's made out of Spectra. It was $135, I think, after taxes. I think I bought the medium size out of 3 sizes. There's one more expensive, the same size one for almost $200 or so, and it's Spectra and Kevlar. So the Spectra can get about a 1/4 inch rip through it by a bear, and the Spectra Kevlar would get like a 1/4 inch hole, they say. I get nibbles on it from little who knows what mice and critters at night. You know, they'll never get through. And one time it did look like it was clawed a bit by something. Shall we try the owl call?
Oh yeah, try the local.
So I just tie this string here, goes to a little pulley, and up to a bucket. So I just filled it and hung it. I forgot I was gonna show you what it looked like filled, but I put like 3 grocery bags full into that. Roman candle time. One was a dud. Oh, there we go. 10. Not too many mosquitoes. We're debating whether to put the net up. Usually there's a lot of mosquitoes on the trail near that swampy, wet boardwalk area, but there weren't any coming down today. And, there were a few around in the daytime here. We lit the coils up and that helped keep them away. But right now there's none. So that's why we're wondering if we should bother putting it up or not. But then we just thought we kind of heard one buzz in here. But I don't know what we'll end up doing. Maybe risk without it. Good morning. It's 8:30. It's 11 degrees. We had a little bit of rain this morning. No mosquitoes all night. Couple started coming out 5 in the morning. The odd one, just enough to disturb your sleeping in. We got out of bed at 7:30. I've had a coffee and did a little bit of putting around. All right, made a new pot hanger. That top one can come out and get burnt. I copied this from Scrambled O. Watch some of his videos. He makes some good videos. He hasn't been too active lately, but he does good filming and good cooking. And good outdoor videos. I like watching Scrambled O. And I put some PVC pipe into the ground there. It makes it spin really nice. It used to freeze in the winter and I couldn't spin it around to have the pot on or off the fire as easily. Now it really spins in there well. It doesn't freeze in the dirt. Pretty slick. Well, I have it dug out and pushed back in. Took the old broken peg out. And I have this one to put in. Has a little bit of a bend in it. Hopefully I can get it in nice. Yeah, it's going in nicely. Well, yeah. A little slow going. Well, there it is. All right, how do you like that? You can see that middle stake needs to be pulled out and punched down a little closer there. Yeah, this place is 4 years old now, and some of those pieces I put in were kind of rotten already. Like that big bottom one. The thicker one I had to chip out a bit to get that stake in. All right, I moved the sides in, like I said I was going to do. I've moved the fire pit a few times actually. It used to be 4 feet long by 2 feet wide. I'd put 3 foot lengths in it, 3 of them at night in the wintertime. All I found was it would just burn fast and hot and heat me right out of my sleeping bag, and then still burn out halfway through the night. And then I was finding after a while I had such good gear that I didn't even need a fire at all at night. I'm pretty sure I've taken apart and brought the back wall forward twice, narrowing its width both times, and I guess 2 times now I've shortened the length. That sounds about right, something like that. And moving it involved 4 big flat plates underneath the fire. Big base block rocks. This is a cool battery charger. It's a battery inside that holds a charge to charge things. And it also has a solar panel inside. That little bag's full of all the attachments. I was going to charge my phone, but I realized I had taken the attachment out and put it in another pack. But Jen has one here, so I'll use hers. So, one side. And this side's for charging it or hooking it up to the solar panel. You can charge it through that as well. So to turn it on, I think you tap and swipe. Okay, there you go. So that battery wasn't fully charged. It's been months since I've used it. I figured that. Now I'm gonna try the solar panels for the rest. Alright, tidied up a few feet in on the right. Sometime, maybe this weekend, maybe not, I have to go right to the water's edge there. Clean all up in here. It's nice and little strip there. Look at that, simple and easy. It's not even that bad. Well, it is, a tree fell and some tops ripped off this winter, so there is a bit of a mess really. Did the trail though, just up in here a bit. Just off a few feet to the side of the trail. This all area in here, up the side of the lean-to is pretty good. Except again where a tree fell, there's some tops in there I'll clean up at the back there. And up to there. So yeah, this is a tree top that snapped off. So I gotta clean that up sometime. And yeah, so a little light raking in here. That's as far as I go. So up there goes up to where we walk in. Well, it's looking down just where we were. I'm on the tent pad now. That's the area I was saying was kind of fine, except for some mess at the back to clean up. But as for right behind the tent pad, I raked up and all in this little corner here, and up to the little seating area, and behind, and right up to the gate back there where I have my gate to come in. That I did yesterday. So yeah, tied it all up in there. And just in there a bit. Back there to the food bucket I did today. And finished off in here beside the lean-to. Except all in there, but it looks good. Doesn't really need done. Some of it gets left rough for little animals to hide in and run around. Compared to what it was, I did a big cleanup. Could rake that just to kind of loosen it up, make it easier to freshen it up for new growth. I'll give that a quick little light raking. So I did the trail here, did in here, so that I cleaned up. Cleaned up in there. That's all cleaned up in here. That up there looks fine. Cleaned up just a little bit in there, not a lot. Yeah, I might not bother getting in there. That's fine. And down to the water. Yeah, we're pretty good. Just grabbing another bucket of water because I emptied the bucket to use for carrying piles of duff. So I've picked up several of my raked up piles and added it to this path. It's a little low in some spots where these logs were and wet. I put a little bit in certain areas around here. Well, we also had tiger prawns, but the package was unsealed and they were smelly. You could tell it didn't seal along the seam. It wasn't like they were cut or opened or anything. They weren't sealed properly, so we're not going to eat those.
So, have some steak and mushrooms there, and then some potato and orange pepper and onions, and the corn and garlic bread. Good morning. It's 6:30, 10 degrees. No mosquitoes this morning. Yesterday they started at 5 in the morning. Just the odd one come in every 10 minutes. This morning, none. So we didn't use the net again last night. Lots of loons and frogs all night long. It was really great. So a couple weeks ago, the tops of these had some gaps, and I tried pulling them out and making cuts and making cuts on the center post, and all it did was really wreck things. So the right side was still quite high. I lowered that and was able to sink it down low enough to adjust the center one, which I'd cut an inch too far last time, 3/4 at least. And so I kind of have everything sitting nice now. Except the next issue I ran into was this outside piece was hanging up on one of my posts that hold the wall. There's also one down in the middle and one at the end. So that one wouldn't hammer in anymore because it's on a root, so I had to try cutting it. This one I can't get a saw into, and I've been trying to kind of mashing at it and picking at it with a knife. And that one there, I'm going to hammer down right now. I have it all back together. Dropping the right side of the lean-to really dropped the last roof beams, so the wall pieces will need trimmed again. Sticking out past where they were. I dropped it a couple inches. I never really had it on there proper in the first place. I didn't have it lashed properly either. You can see how the tree really outgrew in 4 years, onto the ropes that were holding it. I did undo the ropes to drop the top beam. You can see how much that tree moves in the wind. Moves a good couple inches just at the bottom. Pulls the lean-to apart that much all the time. Really notice it on the box, on the tree. How do you like that? So we bought some marinated chicken. I can't remember what flavor they came. And we also cooked some big fat apple pork sausages, which I forgot to show you. And then removing my awning posts. I'll just throw that in the hole to keep it from getting filled up with dirt and debris. Dry pulling this down isn't too bad. Going up will be harder. Through the forest and over the roots isn't too bad, kind of goes smoothly. I have worn holes in it from a couple years ago, coming down either a little early or really late in the season. I just go buy some PL 500 and smear it in one of the grooves on the inside. Make the runs solid. Well, it's alright, just 2 nights. It's Sunday at 2 o'clock. We're going to go home early. We still have the holiday tomorrow off. So we'll go home and have a fire after we get all unpacked. Thank you very much for watching. See ya.